The Archer and Pine Podcast, featuring stories about Black artisans, designers, and creators.
Welcome to the Archer and Pine Podcast. My special guest today, Otto Akpan. Is that right, Otto?
That's correct. Oh, yeah.
Better known for the Smooth Vintage brand. And Otto, we're so excited to have you on our platform. And you guys have some amazing products. You got the beard oil, you got the deodorant, you got the facial oil. So, Otto, how did you get in? How did you get into this? Have you always been an entrepreneur? What got you into this, this branding?
Well, the business started back in 2014. I was talking with a friend of mine, and we were just out having drinks, and we were just talking about just life in general, and especially life as just being a Black person. And we were just like, it just seems strange that there isn't any kind of connection on the internet for people in our situation. Just like, young Black men who are looking for a outlet to express ourselves. We weren't like into the ground rap scene or anything like that. We just needed an outlet to say, hey, we carry ourselves a certain way, but there isn't anything out there for us. And so the conversation just was that, and nothing sprang up from that. And then a few months later, I just felt like getting involved in something. And my wife was like, hey, what'd you start doing soap? I was like, soap? Like, what am I going to do just making soap? She goes, no, just give it a try. I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to the wife. That got me this far, so I'm going to listen to the wife. And so I just started creating soap. And it was kind of like this spiritual kind of cleansing for me, because here I am just making soap in my garage, using my hands, and I created something that just felt right. And so my wife tries it out. She loves it. I was like, okay, cool. All right, let's see if other people like it. And then other family members try it out, and they like it. I'm like, okay, this is good. Okay. So it just started off from there. And when the soap started, I went back to that conversation I had with my friend. I was like, maybe I'll start something. Like, maybe I'll start like a blog or a website. And so I started off with a small little blog. I actually don't even remember the name of it, but I would just have certain topics that was near and dear to me. I would talk about being able to talk to a woman, being able to, stand straight, have good posture, being able to stand up for yourself, being able to just carry yourself in such a way that reminded me of like the 1940s and 50s, and when, you would talk to your grandfather would just, have that certain kind of, I'm going to use this for it, but that certain kind of swagger about him. Like, there was a way he carried himself. There was a way that he would speak to people. He'd go to church and he was loved. And I felt that I was trying to bring that back to life, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And so once the soap kind of started taking off, I was thinking of other things that I could add to the repertoire. So the deodorant came into mind, and then the beard oil, and then everything else that just followed. And after that, people were just praising and commending the fact that not only that I was making these products, but that I was standing for something behind these products, where it wasn't just, I'm trying to make some money. No, it was about, I wanted to uplift the people. I wanted to uplift, brothers like me to say, you know what, there is something for us. We don't have to carry ourselves in such a manner that is disrespectful or not at all in vain with the stereotypical image of the current Black man. It's like, no, we know how to address ourselves, how to carry ourselves in the mannerisms that we want, and that's what I feel this product stands by.
Man, I love that, man. And, the thing that I'm discovering, I've been doing, a lot of our interviews for our new creators. And, man, it seems like that's a common theme with our creators, which I love, is they're not in it, of course, you got to make a profit, you got to take care of business, but right. It stands for something. There's, like you said, right. There's more to it than just the product. The product not only has a story, but it really, at the end of the day, is something that's going to help the universe. And I love just being associated with stories like yours, man. And that is so powerful. Right. And what about the wife, man? What about that queen, man? When you got that kind of backbone, then you have no worries, man. What a blessing that is, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I go to her for all kinds of information and advice, and same with her. She comes to me. We try to keep that relationship going. That I want to reach my 50th and 60th anniversary. So we're in it.
I love it, man, and that's great to hear. And so, have you always been entrepreneurial?
I've not always been an entrepreneur, but I've had that in my family. And the funny thing is, I was talking with my mother a couple of years ago, and unfortunately, my grandmother and grandfather passed away some years back. And when she came back from the funeral, she gave me the obituary, and I was just reading through the liner notes. And at one point, I saw that my grandmother and grandfather actually were entrepreneurs themselves. I didn't notice at the time.
Wow.
I was like, Mom, what is this? She said, oh, yeah, they used to sell this and that. Your grandfather was really into fabrics, and he loved fashion. He would sell these things. Your grandmother would sell limestone and all these other things. So I was like, so this is just in my DNA. I had no idea. Okay. And so learning about that just really propelled me to learn more about being an entrepreneur, starting a business, and really getting out there and just showcasing this product. And just knowing that that's in my family really wants me to pass that on to the next generation. I have two children. I have a son and a daughter. And I always try to tell them that, there's nothing wrong with working, but it's also good to try to have something on your own. Try to have your imprint in the world, because that's the one thing that no one can take away from you. A job, someone can take that away from you at any time. But your business, that is something that you started from the ground up. And with something like that, you can't take away. And that's something I try to instill in my children in the same way that my grandparents instilled to my mother. And although she was an entrepreneur herself, I guess that whole skip a generation thing. But now I'm starting to feel it, and I'm loving it, and I just want to keep producing.
What about, Otto, what about the whole creative thing? Like, how do you start? I'm always amazed that people, like your wife says, hey, do the soap, and then you start whipping up some soap. What's the process, man? How do you start?
I just do a bunch of research first and foremost. I don't really like getting into anything without having some kind of idea. And so, at least with the soap, I went onto various websites, and, everyone has their own way of doing things, but I had to make sure that I had the core elements down of making soap. And then once I had that together, I kind of went off and created my own little recipe. And then I guess with the creative juices kind of just flowing, just in my mind, I was thinking to myself, okay, if I got this going, what else can I make? And then it just, from then on, I'm just like, what else can I make? What else can I make? What else can I make? And it just kind of went on from there. And then with the deodorant, same thing. I was like, okay, let's start with the basics. Like first of all, what is deodorant made out of? And then you kind of look at the commercial market, because that's what you're so used to. And then you see all these ingredients that are on there that, one, you can't pronounce. Two, you're like, where did this even come from? This doesn't make any sense. So I said to myself, okay, there has to be some recipe out there that strips it down to the basics. Once I find that, do my research, I put my own imprint on it, and then I just kind of go from there. And so that's just how these products came to be, and that's just my MO.
Your wife's belief that she plants the idea and she knew that you would move forward with it. So she trusted that you would figure it out. Again, I love that piece, because again,
Oh, yeah.
you really do realize when you're watching regular television or even just looking at magazines, there's not a lot of positive stories about black husband and wives. What goes on when you are basically each other's supporter. You don't really see that a lot.
Right.
And when you hear these stories, and like I said, even when we live it, because I too been married for quite some time, over 17 years. Yeah, that's how it works, man. You're a team, and like you said, especially when you start talking about entrepreneurship, there's so many valleys and peaks, and so many times where you need inspiration. So you really need someone to help drive that. And it's so great, the story, the way you share, your wife is incorporated into what you do. And so, man, I'm excited about the different products, again, that you have, and everything from the beard oil to the face oil to the soap and the deodorant, all things that are reasonably priced and quality. And I just can't even wait to sample. So, man, so excited to have your brand on our platform. And again, if people want to reach you, what's the best way to get to you, Otto?
The best way to reach me would be at www.smoothvintage.com. If you want to get a one-on-one email, you can reach me at info@smoothvintage.com. And, myself, I got a team, primarily, my family. And, we're just trying to make sure that we're putting good things out there for people that they love. And we're just going to keep this going.
Yeah, man, definitely. Well, thanks again, Otto. Thank you for being on Archer and Pine. We see a lot of excitement in the products, and man, I just couldn't wait for your latest and newest creations. That's Otto joining us on Archer and Pine. Thank you for listening.
Archer and Pine, circulating the black dollar since 1921. Go to archerpine.com now.